working on the hammer a little bit more. I forgot a little earlier to clean up all this, so off camera I just went through that real quick. Did all the symbols and stuff on the other side. I did stop off at what was it? The dollar store, and I bought this little tool. It's like a little needle to it, so I can use to get into like the small little cracks that I can't really get with anything else. What I was using was my X-Acto blade, which wasn't really a smart idea because it kind of broke the point of it off. So, but I do have extra blades, so I can switch it over. But I'm gonna use my wood burner and try to melt out some of like the little supports inside here that I can't get out with this because it's too tight of an area. And now all I'm going to do is start measuring, marking up the hammer and everything so I can start putting a hole in it, because what I'm planning on doing is getting this much into the actual hammer so it has a little bit more support than just the hammer, because I feel like if it's just mounted straight to it like that, then this is a weak point where it could possibly break off if I like swung it or held it by that a little too long, because I am not actually going to be keeping the hammer as what it weighs now. I don't know what it weighs. I'll weigh it later when I have one. What I'm planning on doing is I stopped off at Michael's again and bought this. It's cement. It's 10 pounds. I don't think I'm gonna use all 10 pounds. This is just the powder, and I have to add water, 3-to-1 ratio. And once it dries, then it'll be a little bit heavier. But I think I might use 5 pounds because I don't want this to be too heavy. Like, I don't want to hold it that often, so I don't want it just to be like held it for a couple of seconds and then my arm gets tired or sore, so then I have to put it down for a little while and then I can pick it back up. I want to be able to carry it for a little bit longer, so whenever I want, or however long I want to. So I'm probably just gonna use 5 pounds so it has a little bit of weight to it, but it's not just light plastic. But I'll be doing this a different day. What I am planning, I did off camera before I hit record, I forgot to, because this is the little clip thingy, or not clip, it slides inside here on both of them, and then the handle attaches like this basically, but the handle's upside down, but like, it would attach like that. So I was trying to find the center because it's not perfect inches. So what I did was I used a ruler and I tried to find the center on the side. So I just did across, middle, and straight down the side. And then I took my compass and I got the diameter. I just matched it up, put the needle in the center, and I just did a circle. I matched up the circle. And then I used the needle and put it in the center where both those lines cross, and I just drew the circle. So it fits with a tiny bit of extra room around the side, but I just need to get straight through the middle. I'm not 100% sure if it's gonna work out. What I was planning on doing is using my wood burner and trying to melt this hole, because I don't think this is a solid piece. I think it's infill on the inside of this. But if it is a solid piece, then I don't think it's gonna work out that well, because if I melt this, then it'll dry and cool down, still attached, because I won't be able to get all of this out. But I'll be trying to do it, and you guys will be here with me. But I'm putting it on top of, I just have this extra wire roll. I'm just gonna put this on top and melt straight through it, so I don't accidentally go like this and it goes straight through onto my table. But for the hammer, after I get this hole done, I'm gonna slide this onto this so I know how much I have left to be able to put a hole straight through the hammer like that. Because my plan is I'm gonna go hole straight through on both sides of this, so half a circle on one side, half a circle on this, and then in here I'll probably hollow it out and pour that cement inside here so it has weight to it. But first thing first, I'm gonna try to take care of this. And I'm also gonna use some masking tape just to tape down the whole base of it, like the wire part, because I don't know if this is gonna work out or not. And we'll try it off. I do have a couple extra bits. Oh, I could have used this. And that's literally just about the same size. So I'm going to shut this off, and I will put the piece in here. This is hot, so you're not supposed to be taking it out when it's hot, but I'm just gonna take it out and put it in something where I know it's not gonna ruin it. And this is glass, so it's not gonna ruin the glass because it's not gonna get that hot. And then I'm going to be putting this piece on. I didn't even think I knew I had this. I didn't even think about it. But I'm gonna put this on because it's almost the same size. But when you're putting a new piece on, careful, because these pieces all do get hot pretty quickly because they are a good conductor. I know, look at me use big words. Alright, see if it works. I believe it's already getting warm. Yep, it's getting warm. Alright, now I'm just gonna let this warm up. I just turned it back on because there's a little button right here, so I can turn it off and on. Sorry for the noise in the background. I'm just gonna put this back on the little stand just so that can warm up. And we're gonna clean up the area a little bit. It has warmed up enough where it's starting to go down slowly. It smells like marshmallows. Alright, and we just broke through the bottom of it now. I'm gonna hang that up so it don't fall or anything. And I'm just gonna use pliers because this plastic is gonna be hot now. And I'm just gonna pull. Okay, maybe not pull. I'll let it cool down a little bit. Get rid of all these hairs though. Also make sure like the windows or you have some kind of ventilation open or on, so you're not breathing in all of these fumes. Alright, now I'm just gonna use this again. So what I just did was I used the same thing but on the back side of it to cut that piece that was hanging on it. So now it is done. Now let's check this thing. And it's a perfect fit. There we go. A little bit here. And now it's a perfect fit. So now I know that this is how much space I have left. It's not really centered that well. Could have went a little bit further this way, but it don't matter. It's not that noticeable. And now I know when I go to put the handle on, that's how much I have to cut or melt a hole. That at least that much, so I'd be able to fit in. So now I'm just gonna hold this where it is, and I'm just gonna mark off the ending and the side. Hammer down. Wasn't really straight because I was holding it sideways. So now that what I just did was I held it flat up against this and just did it like that. You guys might see a little bit of smoke. It's just burning off the extra residue that I had left on here by accident. And I do not have a sponge or anything, so I'll be right back, guys. I'm made a little contraption right here. So I just took an extra SOS sponge. That's just the dirty one. I replaced the one at the sink, so instead of throwing it away, I can just use this. It's cleaned. But because I have all this extra filament or PLA on here, and it's just bubbling and making fumes, put tinfoil around this sponge, and inside it there's water. So I can just go like this, like it's a sponge for soldering, because it's still wet, so it's not gonna really affect the actual thing, the sponge, that much. But it will take off the extra residue that was on this. So it's not just cooking and boiling or making gas and those fumes from melting the plastic and stuff. It's still gonna smell a little bit, but it's not going to keep making that smell. So now I did make that hole, or not the hole, the line for it. Sorry, I heard banging. So now all I gotta do is I'm gonna try to use the same thing and just melt straight down like that, but I'm actually gonna mark it up a little bit more to show like half the circle. Take this off. Now what I'm gonna do is, because this already has a hole straight through it, now I'm gonna put it in here so I know how much to cut or start to cut on this side, so then I have the same amount on the other side, if that makes sense. Alright, so what I did is now I have to take this. Now it means I can use this piece, line it up with this line, and just go straight down to the end of right there. So then I know that this is going to be half of this circle because it's half of what it shows on here. So now I'll get rid of this out of the way so I have more room. Save these for later for something. And let's try it out. Now because there is infill on the inside of this, it did make it a little bit hard to keep going straight through. It kept trying to push it out because each layer was on it. So I'm just gonna touch up a little bit more. I think that should be good. on it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to cut still a little bit more down on the bottom half because when I put the handle in, because I'm trying to use this mark, I'll have to clean up all this with my other top to that. If I put the stick in it, push it all the way back, if you look at the stick while it's sitting flat, the stick is bent this way a little bit. So that means the bottom down here isn't really perfectly like straight down. It just stops halfway basically. Alright, so I got it lined up and it fits pretty good. So if I snap that back down in there, the handle stands straight up. Put it on right, there we go. The handle sits pretty straight up and it looks really good. So now all I gotta do is match the same cutout on this, but to this piece. So I'm gonna, also I need to touch up the sides, but I'm going to mark it up now. I'm gonna do the same thing as what I did for this piece. I'll put this piece back inside. Right after I flatten that. Alrighty, put that down. Let's put this piece back in. And then I'm going to put this piece in as well. Now because the handle doesn't close all the way, that's because all of that sticks up now. So now I'm just gonna quickly melt all these pieces off real quick. Alright, it looks flat to me. Now I'm just gonna wipe off those fumes, the pieces that stuck to it. And now because it looks pretty flat, going straight down like that, do a test fit real quick. Sorry for the noise in the background, my windows are open. It's not perfectly flat. There's something that's sticking out a little too far. But I do not see it. So, might fix that after. I probably will just put piece of sandpaper, like a sheet of sandpaper on the ground flat. And I'll just hold this onto it and I'll just keep going like that, make it perfectly smooth. And also, don't know what I was gonna do to fill this piece in with the cement because I forgot it's infill. So what I'm thinking I might have to do is, because these are just holes straight through it, like all the way, like pillars, I think I don't know how I'm gonna do that actually. I'm either gonna use my Dremel and just sand off, like I'll probably do like a U shape. I'll probably shape off like that, so I still have the spot for the handle, so it's not wobbly or anything, and it has somewhere to mount to. But I think I might use my wood burner as well and just go like this and just make the holes into all the parts on both sides. But in another way I can figure out how much cement I'm gonna use, I'll probably somehow get the holes. I'll probably drill it, because if I use my wood burner, it's just gonna make holes and make it warped and everything. Probably just drill holes all like this. And what I could do is get a scale, put this on it, measure that at 0. So this would be 0. And then I can pour water all inside the holes to see how much this can actually hold. So I just say this is only, the only capacity of how much I made holes for was 5 pounds. It would be 5 and 5. So this would be 10 pounds. But let's say I had 40 pounds or whatever. Say like I had a big bag and I wanted to know exact amount of what I can make, so I don't have any extra cement. I could just weigh that, how much I could hold on this water, and then I can just take that amount out and just put it in. Yeah, instead of going a little bit of this, wait for it, see if it fits, put a little more, make a little more, and going like that. But I think I'm just gonna drill a whole bunch of holes going straight through into the pieces, and then I can pour it all inside like that. But I don't know about that 100%. Now I'm going to set up this piece. I am going to use a little bit of tape just to hold the pieces together so they don't move. Probably do one on this side and then one on the back side as well, just so they stay flush. And then I'm probably gonna have to either use a wood sealer, because I don't know if I like that dry Dax. Actually, this is what I used for my helmet, my Iron Man helmet. I don't know if I'm gonna use this again, because I didn't like how it kind of made the helmet look a little bit. I might look for something else, like a wood filler, to see if it dries and then it won't absorb anything. But I'm not 100% sure about if they make something like that, because there is gonna be a seam on this. It looks like, unless I do that sanding thing and it makes it perfectly flat. And that you can see where the hole is. Oh yeah, I can see a little bit of what sticks up. I think I'm actually gonna put this together as well. Might use a little bit more duct tape, a little bit of tape. I'm just trying to crush it together so this piece gets filled up instead of having a little bit of room in there. Definitely would be easy if there was 2 people to help me out, or one other person to help me out with this. But just tape one side, then crush the other side. and then push the tape down onto it like that. But there is going to be a little bit of crack, it looks like. We'll try to fix it later. That's what it looks like. All done. And we're done. And we'll see you in the guys' next video. I'm just joking. I'm not gonna finish it. Now made the mark. I'm using the side of the pencil like this to draw the lines down the center, or try to like where it ends. I don't know if that worked out. And now I can take, was a waste, but I don't waste the tape that much. I try not to, at least, unless the pieces that stick together, they just don't have stickiness anymore. But now I'm gonna take all these pieces off, and I'm just gonna hang them down on the table right next to me, just so I can use them at a later time. So far this hammer is coming out really good, and I don't know if I said it in my video or one of my videos when I was making that Iron Man helmet, but I did have a miniature helmet, the exact same helmet, 3D printed helmet that I made for the Iron Man helmet. I just took that, put all the pieces together, and printed that out as one whole piece, and it's probably about like this big. I'll show you guys later. It's put away. It's on the shelf next to the actual Iron Man helmet. It's in the other room. But all right, yeah, it didn't really work out. I was trying to see if I can go like this and just follow the line straight through, but it did not work out. It's pretty good. All right. Now let's try something a little bit different. I don't know if I'm gonna put that same bit on that I used for this piece. I think I'm gonna just try with the flat piece that I had earlier and just mark it down, and then I can curve it out. But we'll find out. I'd say about midway. Gonna try something, see if it works. Seeing if I could just peel that piece, strip all the way down, because when you heat up the PLA, it all becomes like, no, it becomes soft and weak, so you're able to like move it around and stuff. try grabbing all these pieces of chunks out. And I'm going to use my little fan just to blow the fumes while I'm melting, so it's not going right in my face while I'm doing this part. Alright, we're just going to do a little test fit real quick. Let's see if that would work. Didn't work out. Now I'm just going to wipe off. It does fit in there. A little bit of touch up I need to do on some spots, but we're just gonna close this, put these pieces back together, and we will try it. Okay, that was not a good one at all. Okay, which one I just melted? Alright, hey, what's up guys? So, in the last part I was showing that I started melting all this part right here, and same with this one right here, to fit the handle. Now I have touched it up a little bit off camera. I just kept going over with the wood burner, got a little flat spots. There were, around the edges right here, there were a bunch of pieces. When you melt the plastic, it starts like to fold up and stuff. So all I did was I just took some sandpaper. I used 150, but this one is 100. I just taped it to my table, and because my table's a flat surface, so I just went like this and just kept sanding it over and over, and now it's perfectly flat. But when it was printing, I think it did warp a little bit, so like the middle part sticks up a tiny bit more. So if I like hold it together right now, there is a little bit of a wobble to it, but it's gonna take a while to like sand it all out like that. So I'm just gonna attach it so it'll be tight right here, but there will be a crack or a seam all the way around, and then I can just use extra filament and melt it to it and fill in that crack and smooth it over, and then I can sand it and do all that stuff and paint and prime it and then paint it. But what I'm going to do is, I already showed you guys that I bought 10 pounds of cement. So what I'm going to do is use my wood burner. It's a little flat circle, and I'm just gonna mark out probably just like a horseshoe right around the mount, because I don't want to ruin this, because this is what's going to be holding this. Because if I take this whole thing out, then this could go like this, or like bend, or like go up or down. But I don't want to do that, so that's why I'm just going to do like a horseshoe straight across like that and down like that. And I'm just going to melt the holes, because if you see closely, I don't have a flashlight, but if you look close enough, if you, actually you can see it through these, there's the infill like chambers. It goes straight through. So I'm just going to take off the front top layer right here, all the way around it, just to open it up so I can be able to fill it in with cement. I'm going to do it to this one and this one, but I don't know how much cement I'm going to do at first. So I actually might change it to the flat circle to try taking off more at once. So I'm just gonna change the bit real quick. Yes, this is extremely hot because it's been on. So I'm using my pliers. And all I'm gonna do is just drop it right into the glass thing, because it's not gonna ruin it. Sorry if you hear any noise in the background. The windows are open. And then this piece, I'm gonna try see if what it looks like with this. But if this is copper, so if I put it in, it's gonna get hot real quick because it's a conductor. So I'm gonna use my pliers and just hold it in and hand screw this piece. Just like that. If I'm not tightening it down, I'm just gonna leave it so it's soft. And then it's gonna start getting that hot. Wow, that's getting hot. I'm just gonna just marking what I want to, what it's gonna kind of look like. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Something like that, go straight down around here. Do the same with this one, do the same thing to this one as well. Think it's warmed up enough. Just trying to get so I can expose the chambers. That actually worked a lot really good. I'm just gonna singe off those pieces that are sticking up. Alright, I think I'm gonna switch up instead of this piece that I have on now. I think I'm gonna put the one that I have been using, the looks like a flathead in it, kind of. This one. The reason I'm gonna try this is I'm gonna try outlining what I want to take off, warming up the top layer just so it's kind of soft to where I can just rip it off like I just did to that last one. So what I'm doing is just making it look like that. I'm just exposing, warming up the top layer of it. Sorry. Warming up the top layer of it, because then once the top layer is warmed up, it's easier to watch. And I'm just doing this segment right here, and then I basically can just using the other piece though, the pliers, and just ripping it off just like that. So like that. This is not going to get touched, but this should get filled in with cement.